Got it. And then, hi, everybody. I think I'm live. So give me a second here to set up my stream. I'm going to paste this URL into a couple places so I make sure y'all can find me while I do that. And then I'm going to pull up the stream so I can see your comments as we go. Okay. All right. So, thank you for joining us. I have just a little bit to cover today. So we're going to start off. I'm going to just reintroduce myself, because like we've had so many people join this group and so many people join the community that I realized I haven't introduced myself in a long time. And even at the start of this challenge, I didn't really introduce myself. So I'm Audrey Shane. I'm a licensed therapist in California. I have a exclusively online private practice. I see about 8 to 9 clients a week. I charge $350 a session. About half of my clients currently pay that fee. I have had to go through many evolutions of my practice, and this is where I've landed after several years of tweaking and adjusting and looking at what's going to support myself, my family, and my well-being. I recognize that balance looks different for everybody. And so, my mission in this group isn't to say like, here's what I've done and you should do the same thing. It's to say that I've been on a journey of finding balance, and I've had to make some decisions that maybe go against the grain of the culture of the therapist community. And it's paid off for me a big time in terms of my well-being and my family's well-being. And I want the same thing for you. I want you to be able to create a practice that is balanced, that is serving you so that you can serve others, because all of us get into this industry to help other people. Nobody gets into this industry to make money or to be rich. And so at the forefront of what we're doing, we're always wanting to be of service, but we can't do that unless we're well ourselves. And so my goal is always to make sure that you're well, that you have a business that's going to support your well-being and allows you to do the kind of service that you want to do in the community. So I want to start off by answering a few questions that I've gotten both about the practice and about Practice by Design, which is that 12-week group coaching program that is on sale right now. It won't be on sale again until June. So if you're thinking about joining, this is a great time to join because it won't come open again until June. I asked in the group, what's hard about being in business for yourself? And I like a lot of the comments were about this idea of like, you don't know what you don't know, and feeling confident in believing in yourself that you're able to do this. And I remember that feeling of I don't know what I don't know when I was in practice. And one of the biggest reasons that I created this group coaching program is to take that mystery away, to say, okay, you don't know what you don't know, and here's what I've learned. And so I condense it down into these short lessons, this coaching, in a way that makes it really straightforward. And again, it's not this like, here's how I did it, so you need to do it this way. It's here are some of the decisions that you're going to need to make along the way. Here are some thoughts on how to make that decision so that you can get clear on what's right for you. I really made a point of designing this program so that you can have the information you need to make the right decisions for your practice every step of the way. And whether that's being new in private practice, you're just starting out, or a few years into private practice and you realize you need to make some big changes, I've set it up in a way that I really want to help guide you to the decisions that are aligned for you and that are going to set up a practice that is balanced for you. I think the other piece of this is that we get into the idea of like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And the reality is that like this struggle and this doubt, that's inevitable in business. If you want to confront your demons, start a business, right? And so you're going to hit this struggle. And I found that when I'm doing this on my own, when I am alone in my house or in my office, and I am wondering, am I doing this right? Am I making the right decisions? Can I do it this way? I get stuck in my own head. I get stuck in my own swirl, in my own anxiety. And I know that for me, having coaching, having a coach has been instrumental in getting me out of that. And so I really wanted to create this program to be an accessible way for you to access that kind of support, that level of coaching, that when you are wondering, am I doing this right? Can I do it that way? I'm not sure how to do this, that you have a place to bring that, to not only get feedback from me, but from other clinicians that are committed to asking those same questions and helping each other find those answers. So to that point of like, is practice by design good for a new clinician or somebody that has an existing practice or somebody working from insurance to private pay? Most of the time, the answer is yes, right? There are going to be some circumstances where I'm going to be like, no, this is not the program for you, right? But the majority of the people that I've talked to where they've come to me and they said, would this be a good fit for me? Most of the time, the answer has been yes. And the reason is that, like, whether you're starting up, yes, I have everything you need to start up, right? That is absolutely in the program. But even if you have an existing practice, I have most of the clinicians that I have in the current round of practice by design had an existing practice when they came into the program. They weren't starting from scratch. And we are really digging deep on what they need to do to strategize, to optimize, to make the decisions that they need to make to get their practice where they want it to be. Right. And it's not that in 12 weeks, like 12-week program, right? It's not that in 12 weeks, you're going to have a full caseload of $300 clients, right? I'm not trying to make that promise. What I'm saying is that in 12 weeks, that's the cycle of the program. That's what the program was designed to be worked through on. But I get it. Like, life happens, right? That's why it's lifetime access. Access to the recording content is lifetime. Access to the group coaching calls is lifetime. So let's say you get into this program and you start going on the stuff, and then shit hits the fan, right? Come back. You get in a good groove and you've got a good schedule and things are working, and then something changes. Come back. We're here when things happen in your family. We're here when something shifts in your business. We're here when your needs change so that you can continue to have balance in your practice, so that you can continue to strategize and make data-driven decisions about what's next in your practice that is going to support your well-being. Let's see here. The other question I get a lot is, I have a blank, fill in blank. Is this program for me? I have a website. Is this program for me? I have a, fill in the blank, right? Yes, we talk about website. Yes, we talk about EHRs. Yes, we talk about all the things. Yes, I have a niche. Is this program for me? And again, my answer is usually yes, right? You might have a website, but I can't tell you how many times I've worked with clinicians who have a website and I was like, oh, there's so many things we need to get in here and optimize. Let's change this, tweak that. I have a one-on-one coaching client I've been working with, and she had a good website. And we went in and we made a bunch of changes to the pages. And she now has in just a few days, 2 new full fee clients. And so it's not that, like, if you have the thing, it's supposed to be working. It's like, do you have the thing, but is it working for you? Can we make some changes to that? Can we optimize it? And so even if you have the thing, there's probably a lot of stuff that you can do with that thing that we're going to work on in the program that's going to make it better, that's going to help support your efforts even more. Last thing I want to say about this before we get into some one-on-one coaching, which I'm really, really excited to dive into. We're going to be talking about niches for both of our coaching volunteers here. I'm super excited. Is that, when I think sometimes we look at the investment for the program and we think, okay, a 12-week program, is this the right investment for me? And this comes back to the idea of, like, this isn't a lifetime investment in your practice success. You have lifetime access to this program. And so the cost of the program, the investment that you're making, is a lifetime investment in your success. And if we do the math, you're going to recoup your investment probably with just one client. One client, they usually stay at least 8 to 10 sessions, I think, is what the numbers tell us. Clients stay at a minimum of 8 to 10 sessions. If you get one client as a result of the work that we do in the program, you will have recouped your investment. And if you increase your fees, if you increase your private pay, if you make shifts in your practice to work more and earn less, then that investment is going to be returned over and over and over again for years to come. So if you're worried about making the investment, if this is going to pay back, if it's going to be a good return, I want you to think about what it's going to set you up to do sooner, what you're going to be able to do now instead of waiting to do it later, what you're going to be able to achieve throughout the program that's going to accelerate your success and improve your balance and allow you to have the practice that you want. So I'm going to stop with that. I'm really excited to get into this coaching. This is the stuff I live for, right? So, Leah, I'm going to ask you to come off mute. I'm going to change to gallery view. Hi, Julie. Julie is also here with us. If anybody's with us live and you have questions along the way, either for me or for the others, or if you have feedback, we'd love to have you pop in the comments. And I'll check in there periodically. But Leah, tell us all a little bit about what you're struggling with in terms of your niche. Where are you, and what's the struggle?
So a lot of the struggle is figuring out what my niche actually is. I've spent the last about 10 years working with kids 0 to 8 under a group practice, and now I'm moving on my own, completely telehealth. So with that comes the need to switch over to adults. Working with kids, I've worked with parents a lot through that also, because that comes with the territory. So I have general ideas. I don't think anything is narrowed down quite enough, but I also want to be careful with staying within my scope of practice, because most of what I've done over the last 2 years has been kids. And I haven't done much with exploring gender identity with a 4-year-old. I can't say that I focus on that or specialize in that. What I have so far is, and because this is something that I've seen come up a lot with the parents that I was working with, I hate the term middle-aged. So these real adults, as I call them, so think like 30s to 50s-ish, not quite fresh out of school.
Yeah.
But
midlife.
Yes. And the most concise term that I can come up with is midlife crisis, but I also don't like that term, because that's, a guy that goes out and buys a Corvette and all that stuff.
Right.
But essentially that, I'm supposed to be settled in my career right now, or I'm into parenting and my kids are getting older. And that feeling of being lost with who am I? A piece of that I also really like and was drawn to, again, kind of with adults through kids, is specifically women finding out around this age bracket that they're neurodivergent or suspecting that they might be. So these folks who are like, time and time again, right? Kids going through ADHD diagnosis, and parents are going, wait, you could have written that about me, and then wanting to explore that for themselves. However, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't do a lot of the intensive testing around any of that. So there's the piece of thinking about just all of that, but also exploring, what does this mean to me? And I don't know how to.
I love this. Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts.
Make that a statement, not a paragraph.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wrote a few notes down. So a few of the things, the first thing I want to address is the mindset around this idea of experience versus interest, right? That your clinical experience has been focused in kids. And so there's this fear about claiming something that you haven't done a lot of, but you're really interested in doing. And this is that idea that niches are allowed to evolve, and you have to start somewhere, right? When you started with kids, you didn't have a lot of experience with them, but you did it. And so looking at what baseline do I want to do to feel like I can claim this, right? What is my baseline? I'm not saying I need to go get certified in something, because that's, I have feelings about that. But at a base level, if I want to be equipped to talk to parents about gender identity of their young children, what's my baseline level of understanding that I need to get started doing that, to then be able to claim it as a specialty that I can say, yes, I do this.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I want to offer you, is that when you're thinking about these different niches, I want you to think about a baseline comfortable level of knowledge that you can establish, where you're comfortable saying, yes, I do this. Okay. Because you know that you're going to keep growing on it.
Right. Yep.
So with that, the things that popped up for me are this identity, the parent identity shift, that they're really lost in who they are and where they're supposed to be by now. And the second one that stood out was the women who have children who are neurodiverse and realizing that they are too, potentially. Right. Yes. And what does this mean? Which is also a little bit identity, right? So for me, there's a
Yes.
thread of identity.
Okay.
And when we look at like when we look at different niches, women who think they might be neurodivergent and midlife parents struggling to find themselves or struggling with feeling lost, there is a thread of identity across the two of them.
Okay.
Now, there's a difference between what you identify as your niche and what clients identify the problem is.
Right.
So I think the women recognizing that they might be neurodiverse is really straightforward in terms that that's what you're saying you do, and that's what they're thinking the problem is.
Okay.
They align. You can pretty much call that one what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And you can condense the words more, like in the challenge that we talked about. In the challenge we talked about the niche statement, where you can kind of condense it into a statement. And then the parent, that 30 to 50-year-old parent identity stuff, we might need to parse that one out a little bit more. Why do they come to therapy?
That's a good question. Kind of getting at the point where we're through like the infant and toddler years, where my identity is really wrapped up in being a parent. My kids are older, so I'm allowed to think about myself. I see a lot of women in particular going back into the workforce after being time off now that kids are school age. And I just don't know who I am. And this may be a little more problem directed, which may be good. Having to also juggle the mental load of everything. So I'm not only maybe working, but I'm still having to keep track of kids' schedules. And I'm the one getting the calls from the school, and I'm coordinating sports, and I'm making sure the house is clean, all of that stuff that generally in our society tends to fall on women.
Okay. So I've heard you talk about women twice.
That's been just most of who I've worked with. I'm not opposed to working with men, but I see, like, I would have no problems marketing towards women either, just because that is more comfortable. And that's where I hear that more.
I was going to say that the problems that you're saying I'm like, yep, right? I'm in your ideal client niche.
Yes.
Right. Where I think, this is part of that idea of like the neurodiverse mom, the mom returning to self, that they are coming to you because they just feel lost. And so whether this is its own specialty page or it breaks into two specialty pages, right? This is the thing, we can target the same person on two separate pages if we feel like the messaging gets muddy. So you're marketing to moms all over here, right? It's parents and it's predominantly moms, but all of your clients that you've talked about so far are really just moms. So you've got the mom over there with the neurodivergent kid who's wondering if they're neurodivergent themselves. You've got the mom who's returning to work and wondering how to balance it all and juggle it all. And there's just so much. And there might even be another one where it's the mom who's, I don't know, there might be another one that's separate. I don't know yet. But it's okay to actually have separate specialty pages for the same kind of client if they present differently in how they talk about the problem.
I like that.
So if you find yourself writing your specialty page for this overwhelmed, return to self identity, uncertain mom, and it's starting to feel like you're trying to go in too many directions, I would look and see if you can parse it out into two. Right?
Yeah.
Reactions? How does it feel?
I like that. That feels more concrete
Okay.
Then, because I have felt all over the place with this.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of having different specialty pages. I think that will help me, because even as I've been writing things and doing some drafts, I'm like, this is just,
Too
there's no
much.
cohesiveness. It's too much. But also not wanting to, and I know when we talk about niching down, it's, yes, people are going to be excluded, and that's on purpose,
Yes.
but it's felt, when I've gone down, it's felt too far,
Mm.
where, just like, well, this is really only one person,
Mm.
and this also needs to speak to more than just, Suzette over there.
Exactly. Yep. That's
So
why
I like that. That helps
I
a
love
lot.
breaking it into, right? Because
Yeah.
on my website, I have sort of a little bit of a broader individual therapy page. The person I'm looking for is very specific, but it's a little more broad.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I've got my couples, which are a little bit more narrow. And then I've got my law enforcement spouses, which is super narrow, like way niche down. That's a very specific population.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so when you separate out into different specialty pages like that, you can get really specific with one or two of them,
Okay.
because it's not your only
Yeah.
pitch. Right. And people will self-select which page they want to go to and then feel
Right.
identified with that.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
that helps a lot.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask one more quick question? And if this is too much for right now, that's fine.
Yeah.
I also do clinical supervision for folks pursuing licensure. So I have a separate page just addressing supervisees.
Yes.
Anything else that I kind of need to think about with that? And that's much broader, because it's really,
Yeah.
you need supervision to get licensed, but just any general
I would say that even with
stuff with
that,
that.
I think there's still branding and niching in the sense of
Okay.
like, there's branding, I think that's appropriate there also, because you just like
Okay.
choosing a therapist, choosing a supervisor means a good fit. And so I would even think about that in terms of like, what is it like? What is it like? Someone supervising me, like I'm supervising, what is it like for them? What am I like
Okay.
that would make
Yeah.
either them a good fit or me a good fit for them, that they would want to know?
Okay.
And I would definitely use a similar viewpoint of,
Okay.
right, so that you're finding good fit supervisees.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Julie, let's jump in.
Hey,
Hi. All right. What do you got?
what have I got? Similar, questions, challenges. I too, was trained child, adolescent, family therapy, and I still love a lot of it, but I feel like I'm changing my identity as a therapist. I should come to you, Leah, because I'm like, I think I'm growing out of that a bit. And, you know, I've always included family and parents because I don't work just individually with the child, although on very rare occasions. But so, and I won't throw this in if we shouldn't, but I also have a coaching business,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel a little all over the place.
I get that.
Yeah, I feel like so many ideas, like so many interests, and it's like, whew, like just gotta like focus it down. And maybe if it's not perfect right now, it's good enough.
Yep.
So, I have, so I'm not sure where to start. Do you want to
So
ask?
what is your current thoughts on what your niche is for therapy? Where you'd like to go with it?
I think towards parenting work.
Okay. All right.
And I have kind of niched down to anxiety and OCD for
Okay.
kids and adolescents, but working with the parent. And so I like to do my trainings. I just really like them. I like learning and everything. So I did a specific training on something called space, which is like parenting, right? For kids with anxiety and OCD, very specific. And it's really cool, but it also kind of embodied my approach, right? Like it gave a framework to my approach, which was, the steps to take, right, for the parents. So I'm definitely, I think, I'm really kind of honing in on that, I think. So, but probably I should just stop there and do that. But that feels a little boring to me. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do that all day.
So, yeah. And you said like a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts. And when you talk about this, clearly it's really interesting. And it's actually phenomenal because in terms of like a specialty page, for example, being able to say, I have this framework with clear steps. If you're a parent with this struggle, I can help you. Right. So it's very reassuring to have a parent land on that page, or let's say you wrote a specific directory profile for just this, that you could really connect to that struggle that they're having with their kid with anxiety and OCD, that you can really connect to like what they want different, and that you have these concrete, actionable framework step-by-step steps that they can follow. And that's so reassuring and containing. Right. So we have one.
Right.
The question is then what else do you want to capture in your therapy mind?
Right. So, I was still kind of taking in like the kids and the teens because I really love working with them. They're really awesome. But honestly, every time I'm working with them, I'm like, we got to go back to parents. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I have to like let that go, which is really hard for me because I did it a really long time. Do you know what I mean? So but it's okay. I think I can do that. But I'm also trained, I really love EMDR work. Right. So I think I'm going to need to focus. I'm trained in child and adolescent EMDR, but got to let it go. Right. You know what I mean? So I think I do have to let it go and really focus on, adult EMDR. So I haven't really fleshed that out. I mean, of who, what with that. But this is kind of developing for me. You know what I mean? These different areas.
And they're not incompatible, right? Like if we think about, I think where my mind is going with this is this idea of, think about your specialties first, and then the commonalities. If we start with the specialties. We know we have this one anxiety OCD parent. We have something along the lines of EMDR, but then let's dig into that a bit more. Like who though? Is it still a parent? Why do they need it? Like, why would they benefit from EMDR? What are they struggling with? Right. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I mean, it's fine if it's a parent, but I don't think I want to focus in on that. I think, I also have like this other, a lot of experience with like, family of origin, trauma, but even just family of origin stuff, like, dysfunction and how it impacts, how you feel about yourself and your confidence. And, just that it's so, the powerful difference that it can make for somebody if they work through that, like how it can change everything in their life.
So I'm starting to wonder if outcome is actually like the overarching niche here, because with your EMDR confidence family of origin and your parents with kids who are anxious OCD, what is common about what they're seeking? What do they want?
Like stability, but also like beyond stability, like first step stability, and then like live fully. I don't know the right terminology, but you know what I mean? Like
start.
Yeah, like breaking free. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not like confined by, right?
I like this. Right?
Okay.
As we talk it through, right? There's a felt sense of the outcome that both of these clients are seeking, that they are bound, that they are constricted, that they're stuck inside something that feels like they can't get out of. And the outcome that they are seeking, regardless of which one they are, is one, stability, two, that breaking free, that living fully. And
I know,
you can
sometimes, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes I feel like it sounds like when I say those things, like a little like
Fluffy.
easy. Yeah. Like a little.
Well, and so this is where that can be the overarching, right? It's in the copy, it's in the writing that we get into the meat, right?
Okay.
You still have to like give them the picture, but then you can start painting that picture in more detail, right? My headline is calm, confident, and congruent or something, you know, and like that's fluffy.
No, I like that. That doesn't sound fluffy too, but probably my own thing sounds fluffy.
Right. But so why does living fully and right? I know, right? And breaking
I don't
free.
know. It's like, but it probably is just my own like hang up. Do you know what I mean?
The question is, what do you follow it with, right? Is if you want to break free of constrictions, if you want to break free of this stuck feeling, if you and have and live a more full life, then, you know, is this what you're struggling with? Are you this? Are you this? Is this what you want? Guess what? I can help you.
Right.
And in both cases, you have really like straightforward, semi-structured, like approaches. And so you're targeting a client who wants that outcome and they want it in a semi-structured way.
Yeah, I kind of feel good about that because for so long I was looking for the right structure, and it's kind of a relief now to not be like, I don't know, addressing so many things, if that makes sense.
Yep. And the relief that you're feeling about the structure that you're bringing to your practice is going to be like your clients will want and feel that too when you present it to them. So your overarching niche is this idea of taking somebody who is constricted and stuck, giving them a semi-structured approach and helping them break free and live fully.
Yeah.
That's like your broad niche. And then your specialty pages speak to the specific people types that need that.
Yeah.
Is that more clear do you feel more clear?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'm not, I'm sure it just needs a lot of like tweaking. Like I want to feel like can understand the journey. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's still kind of coming together a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
And now you can start painting the client journey. Like when you think about the parent with the anxious OCD kid, you can start painting the journey and like mapping it out where they are when they start with you or when they contact you, how you help them and where they will end up. And then you can also do that with the individual who's coming from a family of origin of dysfunction, who's lacking confidence, and then painting like, how do you walk them through that process of where they are to what you help them, how you help them, and then where they are going to be. And now you can start mapping your client journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I wanted to also speak to the idea of like too many interests and too many ideas. My coach tells me, put it in the parking lot.
That's really funny because when my husband and I walk, like sometimes I have so many things. He goes, I'm going to put that in my parking lot. I'm like, can I leave this in your parking lot? He's like, yeah.
Exactly right. My parking lot looks like I
should have my own, not just my husband.
Yeah, right. So mine literally is a Google Keep. I have Google Keep on my phone and it's my parking lot. And you can name the note something and then you can write the notes and it just, you can archive them or delete them when you decide, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not like, just because we have a good idea doesn't mean it's a worthwhile investment of our time and energy.
Yeah. Like
right?
Not to get pulled down too many roads, right? Like I keep reeling myself in, like, just wait, but park it.
Right. Park it. And then at any given point, you can look and evaluate, like, does this still fit with the path that I'm on? Or does that actually is that too divergent from where I'm going that it maybe doesn't fit anymore? And then you can grieve the loss of that idea.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm at a stage in my life where you're really narrowing down more, you know?
Yep. Any other questions? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you both for volunteering to come on live and be coached live in the group. Anybody that's watching this, this is the kind of stuff we do in the group calls, right? We talk through this stuff, we give each other feedback, we narrow things down, we take all that stuff that's swirling in your head, we get it out of our bodies, and then we start making sense of it. And so, this is just like just a little taste of what the group calls look like and feel like. And we do this with all kinds of topics in all aspects of private practice. And so, that's something you have lifetime access to. So I'd love to have you in there. Thank you again, ladies, for joining me. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.